give each of the respondents about 7 to 8 minutes. And after they speak, we will come together. Perhaps we have some thoughts that we want to bounce off in the panel. Thereafter, opening it up to the floor. So let's try that. I would like to introduce Reverend Dr. Hermen Shastri from the Council of Churches Malaysia.
Thank you very much. The title is a very interesting one, a blessing to the nation. I remember some months ago when the interfaith group made a submission to the Parliamentary Committee for National Unity and Integration. We also started by saying that we are present here to present to you the point that all our religions intend to be a blessing to the nation. And by that way, I just want to impress upon all present, I think there is no religion on earth worthy of its name if it does not seek to be a blessing to all humanity. If it does not, then there is something problematic with its interpretation or the translation of its core doctrines in social life. But the reality of the matter, and as our dear brother once so clearly put it this evening, it is the question of perceptions. Why is it we have the perceptions that we have about a particular religion, or about interrelations between one faith community and another? And much of it has to do with political conditioning. And by saying that, I want to relate to the point you made about majority-minority. Surely, in many contexts around the world, there is vested interest of the majority to project a certain perception of their religion in order to keep a distance from the minority. And so I would take this thesis as to be a valid one. If there are perceptions of religions which may not go to the core teachings of any one religion, it would probably has to do with political conditioning, social conditioning, cultural conditioning, even when there is a close alliance between ethnicity and religion. Sometimes in public discourse, we speak about the ideological aspects of religion, that there is a certain ideology that is pursued. And then this question about dialogue, and I think just as in England, here also in Malaysia, I think we see that there are two levels of dialogue that is going on. One's an intense intra-dialogue within one faith community, because as it has been mentioned, just like in Islam, in Christianity, in Buddhism and Sikhism, there is a very intense debate going on as to what constitutes the core aspects of that religion and how it contributes to the well-being of all humanity. And there has to be exercise of hermeneutics, of interpretation, of weighing one normative text against the other, and to provide a comprehensive and whole aspect. And I see this happening also very intensely within Islam, as it has been pointed out. Interfaith, I think it also adds to the richness of this discussion when we are allowing ourselves to be criticized by others as they perceive us. And that is the one sure way to break down popular perceptions of a particular religion or faith community based on contextual conditioning. I have just come back from 3 experiences of interfaith dialogue. There was one in Chiang Mai where we had Asian religious leaders, and there was a lot of understanding gained that perhaps one of the problems that we face with regard to dialogue is to also first come to some consensus as to what constitute to be the core aspects in relation to well-being of human beings on earth. Secondly, there was just recently an academic exercise in Singapore hosted by the Archbishop of Canterbury, building bridges, and there it has shown that on an academic level, that many of the religious scholars, in this case particularly Islam, and Christianity, there is much common ground in both the faiths to help us speak about some of the moral imperatives about religious living and living together in the world. And thirdly, just in Europe now, this week, there has been a meeting of the European churches to respond to the common word between us, the 138 Muslim clerics, scholars and intellectuals who had written letters to the Christians and how both Islam and Christianity can work together. So I think interfaith is a very important thing, and I just want to close because I don't go beyond the 7 minutes, give you all more time for discussion. I think one of the points that I take away from this evening is the reference that you make very forcefully about the liberative aspects. I think we need to perhaps stay on with this point. What means liberative aspects? Liberation for whom? And I think here it becomes a very intense discussion within faith communities, because liberation is indeed a very core aspect about being enlightened, being transformed by interaction with the divine. But what that means in our relationship to one another is a question. The second point you raised about equality. Now, equality is another difficult word. We may use the word in our various religious communities, but we may mean different things. I think I do not want to say more, but just raise this point. And I think you have not used that word, but one of the points that have come out in the 3 conferences that we have been discussing is also this point about secularism. Here in Malaysia, there is some strong reaction to secularism, as if to be secular means to be anti-religion. And one of the notions of that is perhaps of what they see happening in the West. But I think there is a rich history within secularism where it tries to break down this dichotomy between majority and minority. That returning to a core basis constituted in a constitution, that it can provide a space whereby different ethnic communities and different religions can work together. I think, lastly, I just want to make this point that we have to move away from the ethnic discourse that you have alluded to a number of times in your presentation. I think that is our biggest problem in our context, but perhaps not only here, in many other countries, because of this insistence to want to relate race to religion. And one of it, of course, may be related to history, but I think in most cases it is a political project, because only when you make that connection between race and religion can you perpetuate a certain superiority or a certain domination of others. I think in all religious teaching, in the core teachings of each of the world religious faiths, there is no such thing as a close link between ethnicity and religiosity. There is only a close link between humanness and sincere response to the divine in our lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Dr. Hermen. I think it's very good the way our dialogue and conversation is developing. We've established that principles of fairness, liberation and equality are similar all across all religions. But the question that's popping up in my head is that, as I mentioned earlier, if there's a difference of opinion and difference of interpretations, does it mean that liberation for one equals to liberation for another? Equality for one equals to equality for another? Let's see how our other panelists respond to that. Let's move on to K.Shanmuga.